Hey, we are a day late and a dollar short. I don't even know what that saying means, but that's what I used to hear growing up. You're going to be a day late and a dollar short.
I can't help you.
Help me, help me, help me, help me. Welcome to another episode of Small Screen Cinema with Tabitha and Dad, where we review the movies, the TV movies of yesteryear that just shaped Americana. Yes. And what movie are we going to talk about today that shaped Americana?
It's a funny feeling. I just ruined my own joke. Heatwave. Here it was. A funny feeling got me amazed. I don't know what to do. My head's in a haze. It's like a heat wave. There, I got it.
Ooh, heat
Like a
wave.
heat wave.
All right. So tell us about this alleged movie Heat Wave that I'm not even sure exists, even though I watched it.
So heat wave. Oh, it has an exclamation point, so we have to say heat wave
Heat Wave.
is a 1974 disaster drama. The story was by Herbert F. Solow, and the teleplay was by Peter Allen Fields and Mark Weingart. Solow was mainly a producer and a production manager with very few writing credits to his name. He is one of the producers on this film, in fact. He co-created the one-season show The Man from Atlantis, starring a
Ooh,
pre-Dallas Patrick Duffy.
Patrick Duffy in the swimming. Yeah.
He worked on TV films like Killdozer and Climb an Angry Mountain. As a pro-
No, that sounds dangerous.
as a production manager, he worked on The Girl from Uncle, Mannix, The Courtship of Eddie's Father, and Star Trek. Solo passed away in 2020 at 89. Peter Allen Fields was a television writer who worked on The Man from Uncle, Rat Patrol, McCloud, Get Christy Love, and Star Trek TNG and Deep Space Nine. He was also a producer on Deep Space Nine. Fields passed away in 2019 at age 84. Mark Weingart seems to have left the business in the mid 70s, and I did not see a date of birth or a date of death on IMDb, so maybe he's still alive.
Or
But
maybe
he
he walked off the flat edge of the earth.
that too, it's always a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
He was a producer on the FBI and Rat Patrol. He wrote for The Tall Man and Circle of Fear, aka Ghost Story, Medical Center, The Rookies, and The Streets of San Francisco. Heat Wave was one of his last credits. This movie was directed by Jerry Jameson. He directed a ton of television. He worked on The Mod Squad, Dallas, Ironside, and Murder She Wrote. He directed the feature film Airport 77, which is the best of the airport movies, and it's not even close. By like a wide margin, it's the best.
But that's like saying Mo is the brainiest stooge.
I disagree. I think Airport 77 is a really fun movie.
Okay.
He did plenty of television movies too. He did Hotline, Stand By Your Man, uh, excuse me, TV movie version of Call of the Wild, and Starflight, the plane that couldn't land. That sounds fun. And according to IMDb, he is
And it's
still
still
alive.
going around after all these
It
years.
can't land. It's just up there circling forever.
Bunch of skeletons in there because he ran out of food.
Before we get to the cast, I want to shout out producer Harv Bennett. Uh, he was instrumental in writing the ship when it came to the Star Trek movies. Lots of Trek connections this week. The first Star Trek movie is difficult for a lot of people to get into. It's very slow, it's very cold. I watched it like 4 times before I started to connect with it. It made money, but not as much as the studio wanted. So basically, they cut out creator Gene Roddenberry, and my hot take is they were correct to do so. And Harv Bennett came in and gave us Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, Voyage Home, and The Final Frontier. The Final Frontier is not fondly remembered, except by me, but the other three very much are among Trek fans. So thank you, Mr. Bennett. What?
I am not a Star Trek fan. I find it very boring, and I know you don't like that, but I will stand by The Wrath of Khan is a great movie.
Yeah, everybody likes Wrath of Khan.
It's
So.
great.
So the movie stars Ben Murphy of Alias Smith and Jones fame. He plays Frank Taylor, and we have had him on the show before when we talked about the letters, but his role was pretty small in that, and this time he's the main attraction, baby. Next, we have Bonnie Bedelia as Laura Taylor. You will know her from Die Hard, Presumed Innocent, and the TV show Parenthood. She also had parts in They Shoot Horses, Don't They, and Needful Things. She is still with us and still working. Good for her. Next is David Huddleston as Arnold Brady. You know him from The Big Lebowski, Capricorn One, and Blazing Saddles. He's one of the Johnsons.
Yeah.
He was also in Brian's song from a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Football coach.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Huddleston passed away in 2016 at 85. And finally, we have Lou Ayres as Dr. Grayson, and he was a classic film actor. His biggest claim to fame was the Dr. Kildare movies. Like before the show, there
Oh.
was a series of movies, and he played Dr. Kildare. Um, he also starred in All Quiet on the Western Front, which is one of the most effective anti-war films ever made. He was in State Fair and Holiday, and just a very long career. Let me see here. When TV did come along, he mostly worked in that medium, and he passed away in 1996 at 88. Heatwave aired January 26, 1974. For some reason, I'm sure I can't fathom why this aired in January. But it ran on ABC. Unfortunately, it went up against MASH, The Mary Tyler Moore Show, and The Bob Newhart Show on CBS. So that doesn't bode well. And on NBC, it ran against Emergency, which Randolph Mantooth just passed away a couple days ago. So rest in peace to him.
And that
And
now I I didn't have time to research this, but in the closing credits, there was an actor in this movie whose last name was Mantooth. Has to be related.
I am unsure. I must have missed that.
Well, I watched the closing credits and like the third set, people who, were barely in it, there's a Mantooth in there.
Right. Okay. Um, Hang on one second. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Don Mantooth.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, middle brother of Randolph Mantooth.
Oh,
That's his brother.
there you go.
Very cool. Yeah, interesting. It also went up against the very short-lived series Tenafly, which also starred David Huddleston. So he was competing against himself, and I bet he lost both times because everyone was watching the Mary Tyler Moore show. Anyway, let's get into the movie. So we start out with a bird's eye view of the city and some ominous music playing. We cut to an air conditioner working its ass off in the apartment of Frank and Laura Taylor, who are waking up drenched in sweat. And then the air conditioner dies. R.I.P. Frank gets up and, like you do when you don't know how to fix something, you just hit it and hope that works. Um, but to no avail.
I hit the lawnmower a few times today.
um, the two talk about the heat wave and how bad it's been. There have been brownouts, fires, backed up repair orders. Frank is very irritated, as I would be. And Laura, who is quite pregnant, by the way, is pretty calm. She's brushing her teeth, and then the water in the sink turns a delicious shade of brown. The power flickers while they're trying to go about their morning. It's awful. Laura gets a call from her mother from London, and she's trying to get Laura to fly out there to escape the heat. Laura turns her down, and Frank is very annoyed that her mother offered. He's kind of a pissy guy. He's very much like this on Smith and Jones too, by the way.
Okay.
What?
First, I mean, the movie is encapsulated in 1974 just to kind of highlight how things have changed. She's 7.5 months pregnant, and her mother is asking her to fly to London. No
Good
doctor's
point.
going to say, "Yep, go ahead and fly to London." So
Good point.
I'll
Yeah,
have
that's
another
fair.
point like that later on in the movie. So
Okay. Um, Apparently they've already borrowed money from her parents. Frank doesn't want to borrow anymore. Uh, so instead, the mom offers to let them use their cabin up at Bear Springs for the weekend. This annoys Frank too. Uh, Laura tries to hug him and he's like, "Get off me. It's too hot for that. I loathe you." And then he heads off to work. And we see this poor stray dog desperately trying to lap up some water from a faucet. It was poor doggo. While he's driving to work, the radio is talking about what's going on and how water rationing may be necessary. The reservoirs are almost empty. It is 6:30 in the morning and the temperature is already 97 degrees. Frank pulls up to his carpool passenger and starts talking about how Laura is due in a month. And he's like, "Yeah, man, that's a huge responsibility." Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's funny. Um, Frank is trying to work his way up from the bottom level of this brokerage firm. The guy he's
Hmm.
riding with is obviously above him, making good money, but he's carpooling with Frank in his little cramped Volkswagen. So,
He's super cheap. I don't
yeah.
know.
So,
He's a miser, and three ghosts are gonna teach him the true meaning of summer that night.
yeah, that's another movie starring Henry Winkler. So,
Right. So Frank's talking about his baby coming and whining about everything in his life, and his friend's like, "It's just a little heat wave. Everybody needs to calm down," as they pass a woman being tended to by paramedics. Um, Presumably she passed out from the extreme temperatures. So yeah, he works at some sort of uh stock market place and whines some more. And his friend calls him out on his attitude, which I did appreciate because it's like, dude, okay, we get it. We're all miserable right now. Meanwhile, Laura goes to the grocery store and that foreboding music kicks in again. She picks up a pack of meat, but the grocer warns her that the power outages have probably spoiled it all and he cannot recommend she buy that. The milk, too. If she wants milk, she should get powdered. Laura walks back a couple of aisles and there's a pair of bickering women. One woman is just like hoarding food into her cart, and the other woman takes great offense to that. And this might bring back some memories of toilet paper a few years ago.
yeah.
Eventually, Laura just abandons her cart altogether and leaves. It is now 10 a.m. and 112 degrees. Back at the office, which, okay, I'm sorry. I was super pregnant in the summer. No, I'm not, no. I don't know how she's walking around and staying calm. Back at the office, Frank gets to a meeting with his boss. He's been with the company 7 months, and his boss is just about to give him a raise when a city official comes in and orders him to shut down their air conditioner for the entire day. And the boss is like, "But finances, we can't." And the guy's like, "We're in a crisis. Turn off the damn air." So Frank's day's ruined. Laura then goes to the laundromat, which is also packed. A woman tells her that they've limited water consumption on the other side of town, so everybody scrambled to their side. She says she bets that they will do the same thing on their side of town soon enough, and Laura can't wrap her head around that. around the whole city being out of water, which is a very terrifying prospect. And then she passes out. The temperature is now climbed to 116 degrees. Frank gets alerted to the situation and rushes to the laundromat, which so it's nice to know he's not a total heel. He pulls into the parking lot, and a woman is being taken away in an ambulance, but it's not Laura. She's okay now. She calls to him from the doorway. Um, he takes her home. He tells her what happened at work and that he was just about to get promoted when the heat thwarted him again. And Laura's like, "Well, it's great. You're still going to get the promotion. We just got to wait this crap out." And she feels really bad about calling him away from work. And she's like, "Just why don't you just drop me off at the doctor's office and you go back to work? I will walk home 7.5 months pregnant in 116-degree heat. It's fine." Like, it's not even noon. It's bad. Um,
And I've just passed out at a laundromat, so but I
that
can
too.
walk home 7.5
Yeah.
months pregnant. But
Yeah, don't even worry about it. She gets to the doctor's office, and the doctor tells everyone in the waiting room that he won't be able to see everyone because the health department has asked him to go help at the emergency clinic. He's sorry, and I do think he gives them the best he can, saying that if they're in discomfort, aside from the heat, he will try and squeeze them in. Everyone else will have to come back tomorrow. And Laura's like, "Oh, I'm all right. I'll just go home." When Frank gets back to the office, everyone is leaving. There's been another brownout. Everyone has to go home. And he seems very disappointed by this. And I'm like, dude, you're still going to get your promotion. It's not like you caused the heat wave. Just calm down. The coworker who was so chipper that morning now looks like he's having an existential crisis. He is just sitting there staring at the dark stock market wall thingy where all the numbers flash by. So he probably had a whole different movie that we didn't follow. Laura gets back home to find her fish boiled alive in the tank, which was
yeah,
really sad.
did I ever tell you about my first roommate in college?
The one who asked if you'd rather have an A or an A minus.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. I had fish, goldfish in a bowl, and it was about Wednesday, and there was a flu going around campus. And if you got it, you had to be quarantined in your room. And I thought, there is no way I'm going to let this dorm quarantine me. I got sick on a Wednesday and I went home. I thought I'd rather, you know, ride this out at home 2 hours away. So before I leave, I tell my roommate, could you make sure my fish are all right? It was the middle of winter and I had him on a heating pad. And I would tell him, just, for every couple times a day, I turn it on for about a half an hour just to make sure that the water stays a little warm. It wasn't like set on high or anything, but it was a cold dorm room because the dorm was built in 1493, I think. First thing Columbus did. But anyway, I go back, I get better. I go back to school the following Monday. I open the room. It smelled to high heaven. I'd never smelled anything so rancid. And I looked and my fish were dead. And I'm just staring there. And then he comes in the room and he said, did your fish die? Yeah, that's what that smell is. He had been there all weekend, the whole time. And it was just, eh.
Did you ask him why? When you asked him to feed them, he just didn't?
I said something to him. I don't remember. I was so frustrated with him by this point that I just like, yeah, you killed my fish, okay?
Well, I would have a little more sympathy, but you killed my hermit crabs. So, yeah. You killed Hutch and Huggy. Only Starsky survived that week.
Well, you should thank me. I spared Starsky, your favorite.
Anyway, by 7:30 in the evening, it is 118 degrees outside. And then the music switches to like this classic Hollywood romance music. It's weird,
That was weird. That was
right?
weird. And when he wears his glasses in this movie, I didn't see it until this movie. He looks like young Peter Fonda.
Really? I always thought he
Yeah.
kind of looked like Paul Newman. Not with the
Eh,
glasses.
yeah, with the glasses, because Peter Fonda often wore those wire glasses.
Hmm.
He had longer hair in this movie. I thought, it looks like a young Peter Fonda in like Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, 92 in the Shade, that era. So
Interesting. So Laura suggests to Frank that they take up her mother on her offer and go up to the mountains to try and get away from the heat. Frank doesn't want to because he still owes her parents $2,000. And this is where I ask you, when's the last time you gave me $2,000? Answer, too long. I need you to fork it over.
come at me when we have a heat wave.
Anyway, Laura says her parents don't mind, but Frank snaps that he minds because he's a man and blah, blah, blah. But like, it's not as if he's not working full time. He calls himself a deadbeat, but he's not. And I know, believe me, I know how frustrating it is to be working full time, doing everything right, and still struggle with bills. But don't take it out on your spouse. She's being very nice to you.
Yeah, I really like her in this. Uh
Yeah,
she's level-headed, she's down to earth, and she's got a lot of spirit and bravery. I like her.
yeah, I do too. Frank calms down and agrees to go up to Bear Springs for a couple days, and it's kind of cute because then he kind of flirts and pretends that it was actually his idea, and she pretends to be like, "Oh, I don't know, should we?" And it was a cute scene. But then the whole city blacks out, and somehow they make it through what I'm sure was a miserable night and take off for the mountains the next morning. And the traffic is pretty congested because everybody is trying to escape the city. Laura fiddles with the radio and they find a station playing Jingle Bells, and they both get a good chuckle out of that. They stop at a gas station slash diner to get some lunch, and the menu is pretty limited right now. They have a water shortage. There's only one glass of water per customer. And Frank starts getting on to the guy about it, like, dude, it's not his fault. And the guy snaps back at him, and they both kind of apologize that he's just getting to everybody.
Yeah, but having in my younger days worked in food service, the proprietor, when Frank said, "What are you talking about? Only one glass of water?" Yeah, and he said, "Listen, my wife's back out there with a little camping stove trying to make you people food, so shut up." And I thought, yes.
Yeah. No, agree. That's fair. And that's when we meet Arnold Brady, who comes over and starts shilling his beer to them. And I'm like, first of all, beer is not going to hydrate you. And second of all, she's pregnant,
Okay,
but that doesn't matter to her because she drinks the beer.
that was my second thing that proved that this was encapsulated in time. 7.5 months pregnant, she's drinking a beer.
Right. I'm like, okay, I guess no one had done any research on fetal alcohol syndrome at this point in history, but
Hey,
geez,
I had a friend who was female who loved to drink more than anything, and even she quit drinking during her pregnancy. So,
I think I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah.
well, she picked right back up with it.
Oh, of course. Um, and unfortunately, they can't fill up on gas. They have gas, but there's no juice to work the pumps. And wasn't there a gas shortage like that entire decade?
Not the entire decade. In the mid 70s, there were gas lines. OPEC started, um, using their leverage to hold back gas to raise gas prices, which created gas lines. And
Mm.
but it was a manufactured shortage.
Okay.
But I think it was like 73, 74. I do remember that going about 2 miles, passing about five different gas stations to get gas and asking Mom, why are we going over here to get gas? She said, because it's the only place that has it left for under 50 cents a gallon. So,
Wow.
yep.
What? Violet was over here. She's like, "Oh my God, your gas is 4.19." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I don't fill up over here though. I don't fill up unless I'm in Missouri."
Yep.
And it also reminded me of 9/11 when my mom picked me up from your house. And before we got home, we went to get gas and we waited in line at a gas station for like a half hour. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. And it was quite terrifying to, 11-year-old me.
Yeah.
Anyway, Arnold comes back in and he actually does pay for their meal. So that was nice of him, but he's an ass. I don't like him. Sometime later, the three of them have been conversing and drinking for a while. They're also about to get back in their car to drive, so this is a great idea. Um, and Arnold's like, I'm also up on my way to Bear Springs. My sales are soaring because of this heat wave. And he says he wishes he could arrange a heat wave like this once or twice a year. Asshole! These people are running the country now. Never mind. Sorry. It's fine. Um, Frank's like, a lot of people are suffering right now. And he's like, well, it's not my fault. I didn't cause it. I'm just profiting off of it. And then Frank asks if he can siphon some gas from Arnold's tank, and he turns them down flat for that. Frank thanks them for the beer, and they get back on the road. And Arnold sells extra gas that he has to the station owner after not giving any to Frank and Laura. Asshole. So they're climbing higher and higher into the mountains, and they note that it hasn't cooled off at all, and the cars are now all going the opposite way of them. And then Arnold goes speeding right past them. And then an older gentleman flags them down. His truck broke down, and his wife is having a heart attack. So he just straight up steals their car. He just
Okay.
steals their car. And as he's driving away, he says, "You're young, you'll be fine."
First of all, he kicked Frank's ass first. This frail 70-year-old guy pulls Frank, his pregnant wife, out of this Volkswagen. And then Frank says, what are you doing? Turns around and hits Frank so hard that he falls down and a little into what I'm thinking. I mean, you've seen Ben Murphy without a shirt on. He's obviously in great shape. He could have just waylaid that old man. Said, yeah, not only is your wife going to die, you're going to die too. Give me my damn
You're going
Volkswagen back. But no, the guy
right.
just waylays him, throws his pregnant wife out, shoves his dying wife into the Volkswagen, and steals the car.
Yeah. And I'm just like, thoughts on the morality of this? Because I understand your wife is dying, you're desperate. You saw that she was pregnant, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. We'll get back to the old man. So now Frank and Laura are on foot. I don't know why they're both wearing pants. I would be in my underwear at this point. I don't care. I don't even care. Laura's like, I think I remember a stream about a mile from here. And there is an ASJ episode where they get stranded in the desert and are just about to lie down and die when Ben Murphy's character hears a stream and they're saved. It just made me think of that.
Ah.
So a car passes by, they try to flag it down, but it doesn't stop, which is probably what Frank should have done when the old man flagged him down. And they finally get to not a stream, but a dribble of water coming out of a pipe. And they gulp it down like mad. I mean, who wouldn't?
My gosh, how many parasites are in this?
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
70s before EPA regulations were heavily enforced. You're probably drinking straight up crude oil.
Did you ever read Hatchet?
No.
Okay, so we read Hatchet in grade school, and wait, is this right? Or yeah, this is right. So when the kid crashes in the middle of the wilderness, he drinks water from the lake or pond, whatever that they crashed in, and he quite regrets that later. So that made me think of that. I'm like, ooh, I get it. I would be drinking it too, but ooh. There's a I'm sorry, I'm way off in the weeds, but I got to bring this up now. There's an episode of The Big Valley where it's the mother Victoria, Jared, the oldest brother, and Heath, the bastard brother, and they're stranded in the desert, and they find this like water hole, but it's stagnant, still water, and they know they can't drink it, so he puts like he has an empty bottle, and he puts like a thin cloth over the opening, the mouth, and dips it in there, I guess to filter out all the crap, and then they drink what's left over in the bottle. And I thought that was really interesting. I hadn't seen that done before
Well,
on one of these old
that
westerns.
brings me to two things. Getting more into the weeds. They actually sell, um, like at camping stores and stuff, um, tumblers that have a straw that have a filter that you can either scoop water straight from a stream and just it will filter out like 99.8 of all contaminants, and or you can just stick the straw directly into the water and drink it. um
Huh.
so technology has really gotten far. We did this experiment when I was in grade school where we took muddy water and we put a stretched a cheesecloth over a little jar, like a canning jar,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had like a funnel, not a big funnel, but it's kind of like funneled out from that wide opening, and we put sand on top of that, and then gravel on top of the sand, and then we took muddy water and poured it in there and would watch it come out almost completely clear. So there are things you
Ah,
can do to filter water
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
yeah. Unfortunately, they don't have anything with them, so they just drink straight from the pipe.
Yep.
And Laura recommends they take a shortcut on a trail instead of on the highway. Frank wants to stay on the highway because at least they could get a ride. And I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen. And Laura basically says the same thing. She says, I think we learned from the old man who kicked your ass. We can't count on anyone else right now. We can only count on us.
And I certainly can't count on you running into another frail old man and getting your ass kicked again. So,
Right. Um, so they decide to take the trail. And after a while of walking, Laura has to take a break and she's like, "Oh, you were right. We should have taken the highway." And I feel so bad for her. Oh, I would, oh God, I would be a mess. She's handling it with so much more grace than me. Frank, while she's resting, Frank goes up to the top of a hill to see if they're close to anything. And a raccoon gets near her and she starts screaming for him to come back. So she's also seen a cry in the wilderness. Um, although that was a skunk, but still. The raccoon runs off because this lady's yelling at him. And Frank comes back, and Laura's getting a little delirious, and he assures her that it's gonna be okay. She's gonna be okay. The baby's gonna be okay. He picks her up and carries her for a while. They go along, and he's really struggling. And she's like, "This is too far. You should put me down." And he insists on carrying her, and then it cuts to them lying down. He's like, "Yeah, I can't carry you." It was cute. They take another rest, but she does seem more rejuvenated from being carried for a while. She teases him a little. She says that she's glad he tried something and failed because he's so afraid of failing, but now he did and nothing happened, you know? Like she says he didn't turn into a pumpkin. Like it's not the end of the world that he imagines it to be. So they spend the night out in the woods and somehow don't die. And then they keep going the next morning. I don't know how they're still on their feet. The human spirit is amazing, except for mine. Frank goes to look up over another ridge and he says he sees the burnt out remains of a fire, which we cannot afford to show. Just take his word for it. He says the town looks okay, but he doesn't see anyone down there. They head down there anyway because what else are they going to do? And they make it to the town doctor's house, Dr. Grayson. And thankfully, he is home. He recognizes Laura from being there younger with her parents and helps her inside. He examines her and gives her a shot of something or other. And he tells her that you need to be on bed rest. You do not need to be hiking around, especially in this heat. He also confirms that yes, there was a fire. Most of the town left, scrambled to get away. So it is mostly deserted, and they used up their water supply fighting it. Power's out all over town, too. Great. Love it. We, traded one hell for another. So they're not far from their cabin, so they decide to walk there, and as they're walking, Arnold pulls up alongside them, happy as ever. He tells them to come over later so I can show off my cabin. And they're like, yeah, we'll try. Fuck off. He drives off and they finally make it to their cabin. And they've got squatters because why not? It is a couple of kids, well, teenagers, college kids, whatever, named Terry and Sue. And Terry's like, well, the door was unlocked, so we just kind of let ourselves in. Sorry. But hey, the cabin was going to burn in the fire and we saved it. Sue says they didn't know anyone lived here that time of year and they swear they haven't stolen anything. They were going to leave money for any food they ate. And Frank was very upset, but he calms down and he does offer to let them stay and he apologizes to them, which I don't blame him for being mad that there are strangers in this cabin. Um,
Yeah,
so
and
later that night, everyone's
the the
no, go
the
ahead.
the girl who played Sue,
Hmm.
she was on a lot of stuff when I was growing up. Um, as a character actor, she'd have a lot of guest stars, and I forgot to look her up at the end of the movie, but I just wanted to say I have seen her in so many stuff growing up. She's got a kind of distinctive looking face.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't mean to be rude, but she's got sort of an odd face. And I thought I was wrong because I looked this up. I thought she played Ruby, the helpful mutant in The Hills Have Eyes. The one that helps them at the end. No, not
Oh,
her.
okay.
But she looks like her. Yeah. Anyway, so that night they're trying to get some sleep, but Laura is now in a lot of pain. She wakes Frank up and tells him she's got to get to the doctor. She's gone into early labor. So they walk all the way back there, and Frank does carry her this time. So I guess, I don't know, he felt better after a nap. Dr. Grayson lets them in and recruits Sue to assist him because she's a woman, I guess. Out in the living room, Frank, Terry,
Okay, wait,
and
wait,
the
wait.
old man. Oh,
Hold
sorry, go ahead.
hold on. I did like this. She's getting ready to have a baby, and he tells Frank, "Leave." Now, I I know by the late 70s there were men who were staying in the rooms for births. I know that that had become a thing, but
Hmm.
it just strikes me as so weird that in my lifetime it was just assumed if a woman's going to have a baby, the man has to leave the room, go out there
No,
and
you mean like you did when I was born?
proceed.
The only
And I'd
one who
like
witnessed my
like for you
birth
to
was a
know
doctor.
it was your mom's idea not to stick around for it.
Anyway, yeah, the story of my birth is so sad, you guys. You should feel sorry for me. Anyway, in the living room, the old man who stole their car is there, just sitting there staring blankly at the fireplace. And Frank starts screaming at him, which I get. He's saying that, do you hear that? That's my wife. She's having a baby. This is your fault. You stole our car. And the guy kind of turns to him in shock, like he's not hearing him, and says his wife died. He tried to get her there on time, but she died anyway. He did everything he could to save her.
And and Frank never says, "Where the hell's my car?"
Where the heck is his car?
Yeah, we don't hear it for the rest of the movie.
Oh, but this did lead me to a question. Where was he earlier when they first got to Dr. Grayson's house? Because the old man wasn't there, even though he had the car, so you would assume he would get there much faster than they did. If they already got there and his wife died, did he leave and then come back to stare at the fireplace?
I don't know, but also think about this. There's nobody around. She's died. Where's the body? It's not at the doctor's house. It's not at his house, as we'll find out later. There's nobody really left in town. He didn't have enough gas in the Volkswagen to take her to a funeral parlor, so
It's still in the car, I guess, wherever the car is. You don't want
maybe
that car back anymore.
oh, maybe she's in the same room as Mitch McConnell. I don't know. Or maybe
Very
she's went all
possible.
the way and she's all Lindsey Grahammed right now. So
Anyway, we cut to the next morning, and Laura has given birth to a boy. Uh,
about a 3-month-old boy.
oh yeah, I'll get to that. Dr. Grayson pulls Frank aside and tells him this baby is super premature. Sure he is, and will not survive without an incubator. Um,
Baby has to be 10 pounds.
yeah, I okay. Obviously, they're not going to take a vulnerable, actual premature baby and stick him in this TV movie. But this baby, this is a big, healthy sized baby. This baby's fine.
This baby is old enough to take directions from the director. Okay, I want you to cry now. You want me to cry now? Oh, okay. Could you take the cigarette out of your mouth? Sure.
Wait, wait, what's my motivation for this scene? Um, so Frank is trying to think of what he can do here to save their baby, and he decides that he can build an incubator. So to get oxygen, they need like a tank, oxygen, and fuel. He's gonna have to borrow some from the old man who beat him up, stole their car, and then his wife died, and then Frank yelled at him. So Frank, Terry, and Sue go out, spread out to look for the stuff that they'll need to build an incubator. He goes to the old man who wandered back to his place at some point and tries to explain about the baby. And the old man keeps telling Frank to just leave him alone. And Frank keeps pushing. I'm like, you're gonna get your ass beat again. But the old man eventually tells him where he kept his wife's oxygen. So they end up with almost everything they need, but they don't have enough fuel. And the old man catches a catches a glimpse of the baby, and he looks at the baby, and then he's moved to start actively helping them. Um, Frank goes down to Arnold's cabin to plead for gasoline to run this incubator to keep his baby alive. And Arnold's like, sucks to be you. I got beer to sell. And you know, his devotion to capitalism means that he's a good Christian man.
Yeah.
So back at the doctor's office, they start up the incubator using what little fuel they do have. Frank holds the baby, and it's a nice moment because they acknowledge this is the first time I'm holding my child. And Laura gets up. They haven't told her any of this because she's just the mom. It doesn't matter. She gets up to see what's going on. They say the incubator's only going to last about an hour, with the amount of fuel we have. But who should show up at the last second? Arnold Brady with gasoline. He has had a change of heart somehow. Good for him. And he's got enough that they can keep this incubator running and the baby will survive. And then they hear the sound of rain. The heat wave has broken. The end. Now, I want to say what I do like about this movie is that it's a disaster movie without any action. It's not an Irwin Allen cast of thousands, everyone running for their lives type of thing,
We have
you
to get
know?
everyone out of the city.
And I like that stuff. I love the Towering Inferno. But this one is much more disturbing and much less popcorn thriller. It's like watching Outbreak and then watching uh Contagion, you know? This movie's almost apocalyptic. Thoughts?
Okay. Do you think that I saw the original airing of this? Did I see a rebroadcast? Was this the first time I've seen Hijacked? Or
What did you just call it?
I'm sorry. Heatwave.
I think this is the first time you saw Heatwave.
First time I have seen Heatwave. Uh, do you give this a classic or a trash it?
I give it a mild classic because I did enjoy it.
Okay, I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna give it a mild trash it. I really liked her character. I thought she was the backbone of the movie. And
Mhm.
the sudden change of heart of the Brady character just didn't make sense. Like, you know, 3 minutes early, I'm a capitalist. I don't care if your baby's dying. I got beer to sell. Here's some gas. I hope the baby
Yeah.
lives. I that was
Well,
just
they were almost out of their running time, so
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not something that you would. It's like a waste of time to watch it. I was just the payoff at the end wasn't good enough for me to make it kind of solidified into a very good movie. But I thought the
fair enough.
performances were good, and I really liked the wife's performance, the
Yeah.
under control, the rational one going through pregnancy. And I did you could tell she did such a good acting job without ever saying it or mentioning it, that she was a very tough, stubborn person. And then
Hmm.
when the doctor says, "Yeah, you were a little tomboy," it was very stubborn. I thought, "Yep." Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Okay. What are we doing next time?
We are going to watch the Anthony Perkins classic, How
Oh God.
Awful About Alan.
Okay, that's been on my list, but I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, well, I'm a big Anthony Perkins fan, and yeah, this is one that I've been waiting for. So,
All right, can't wait.
all right. Well, we will be back on time next week, but thank you for joining us, and join us next week for How Awful About Alan, and that can be seen on YouTube,
Cool.
which is still free. So, all right, bye-bye.